believe it was called The American Dragon Jake Long, and it was about a Chinese American kid who was the American dragon to protect New York City, which I remember it came out and I thought it was the best thing in the world because I had never seen an Asian person even represented on TV, and it was this poorly drawn cartoon from the 2000s, but I thought it was the best show in the world just because I realized, oh, there's someone like me finally on TV. So I've grown up in a really small town, 10,000 people, and the vast majority, probably 98% of them were white. Literally who I was just different from everyone in my town. When I first started going to school, and I realized I wasn't quite exactly like the other kids, and I didn't know why because I was so young. I just knew I didn't look like them, and for some reason they didn't look like me, and I just wasn't the same. You think, oh, maybe I shouldn't be here, or maybe this isn't the right place for me.
So, what is it? This is the first time you see your thing?
Yeah, that's the moment of truth there. I was 37 years old, and I wasn't married, and I knew that I wanted to have, always knew I wanted to have children, and didn't really, have any marriage prospects. So I had seen, and I was thinking about adopting. I'd seen an advertisement in the paper about a meeting for international adoption, about a half hour from my house. So I went to that. A lot of people in the United States that even if they're single and they've had a baby that they're going to give up, they wanted a married couple. So they encouraged me. They thought that the best chance for a healthy baby for me would be for China.
When Americans go to adopt a child from China, they have to go to China, first of all. And then they go to Guangzhou, a city in the south, and then they go to this one because there's an American consulate there, and that's where they can do the paperwork for the adoption. And there's one 5-star hotel called the White Swan Hotel that is sort of the receiver of most of these families. And there's a famous red couch that people will adopt in groups. And so all the kids are lined up on this couch together, and they'll capture that moment. And I also want to show that I'm not sure if they do it now, but they used to at the hotel give people Barbies, and that Barbie has a Chinese baby. That's a Chinese baby in Barbie's hands.
I like being a dad, having a little girl makes you a daddy. I know your Chinese side probably wants a boy, but I don't make up these things, all right? Just going by what I understand.
I think a lot of people have maybe a misconception about Chinese adopted kids. We were taught from a very, very early age that it wasn't because our parents didn't want us necessarily. It was more a matter of circumstances that they couldn't keep us. If it was just the social norm that they kind of, in China, were pushing to have more sons than daughters.
Sure, people in any country that give up for reasons that aren't ideal, but it's a different culture and different pressures, and I'm appreciative that I got this. And my only wish would be that I would like to let them know that she's okay.
There was a boy on my bus who would say, oh, all Asian people are stupid and all Asians have such small eyes. And that's when I realized, oh, they do see me as fundamentally different than they are. Maybe I need to pick one side or the other, if that makes sense. So I tried to be completely white. I thought maybe, oh, if I just had blonde hair and blue eyes, I would just fit in so much better, and maybe I would be happier, make me feel more accepted. And of course that didn't really happen. So around 6th, 7th grade, junior high, I got much more interested in being Chinese. I got more accepting of that part of me, and I realized I didn't have to be white. I could maybe just be Chinese and learn as much as I could about that. And then as I got into high school, I realized I could never be fully Chinese just because I missed all that, growing up. I was never going to fit in with that. It's like a multi-million-dollar weapon. I would show you, but it's loud. I mean, I can show you actually when we go back. If the Chinese government came out and was like, you were adopted because we wanted to spread like Chinese culture and it was all a power play, I would be like, okay, that's okay, I guess, because it wouldn't make me less interested in it. It's kind of like how I was raised, like just I tend to be like interested in it now and I'm not gonna like cut it. My middle name is my Chinese given name. So my mom wanted me to know that, that's who I was, maybe not like supposed to be, but that was always a part of me. And I've always kind of, had a connection to that name more than I have to like my English name. But I knew that they were both me.